Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse and more specifically beautiful Danville, Illinois. And this is Midday with Reverend Don. Welcome. Today my guest is Ed the Pagan. Hi, Ed.
Hi, how you doing?
And welcome everyone. As you know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, you can type your questions or comments into whatever platform you're watching on, and they will appear in the chat room. I do not have the chat room on the screen today because we have a guest, but we will see it and we can respond to you. And today we are going to talk about what's new from Correllian Publishing. And we have a new book announcement. And that is the new revised version of the first degree lessons for 2025. We have put a link in the chat room, which will show up on most of our platforms. And this is the first version of the first degree in the Imperium of the New First Priesthood. And it's the first time that Correllian degree materials have included a double byline. And these are by myself and Lady Alyssa, the First Priestess. And hello to Janet Winston in the chat room. It's good to see you. And hello to Swack Fan. It's good to see you. And yeah, it is.
Well, I think this is pretty important. It has one unique feature. This material will be copywritten by the church itself, the Correllian Nativist Church, the first of the material, and will not be included on the which we have on Correllian community page and other places. Yes, we have a lot of we put almost everything we did formally of the last administration. You would call it regime. What would you call the last grouping?
Administration.
Administration, and all that material
Yeah.
produced by Don and everything else was put into the public domain for various reasons.
Hmm.
But this one I think is very important because it'll be inside the Correllian Nativist Church control.
Hmm.
Because I think it's not just important that they're using this. This is where they're shifting. Everybody's shifting their focus on doing better. We talk about Wicca being a living religion, Correllianism being a living religion. This is the biggest attempt to it at this new administration. Is now looking at this as their teachings. It takes out a few of the ideas that the chancellorhood and everything else. And the first step, I think, of reasserting their control over their own materials.
This is absolutely true. And there are a few changes or a few evolutions, if you would.
Hmm.
Um, it's not a drastic change, but it does reflect the fact that we're in a new Correllian era. We have new first priesthood who are
Hmm.
moving forward, and we are stable and healthy and growing and continuing to evolve our ideas.
Hmm.
And that's, to me, a really important thing because I've seen so many organizations that could not survive moving from one generation of leadership to another one, and we have survived and are moving forward.
So when is this coming out?
The ETA is April 25th, which will be illustration.
Hmm.
So if you order it now, um, you would receive your copy right around that time. We will have put the order in. I expect to have them physically at lustration, and so they should be in the mail by then.
And if you get enough people to pre-order, could you not have them signed and then shipped off?
Oh, of course, yes.
I mean, shipped
Well,
by at lustration. You'll have everybody the principles.
yes, Lady Alyssa will be there to sign as well,
Hmm.
which is not something we can ordinarily offer because she's not physically here to sign them. But for these first orders, she will be able to sign them also because we'll be physically together.
Well, so what I'm hearing is if you want this revising, which includes her, and have both of your signatures, you need
Hmm.
to order in time so that you can get them delivered
Yeah.
after the lustration.
And it takes at least 2 weeks from the time we order them from the publisher to get them. So if you want to be part of that order, within the next few weeks, you want to order.
So calculating the numbers no later than April 10th.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
and sooner
yeah,
than that. I mean, you can put in an order sooner than that.
yeah, you
One
can
of the
get it.
one of
You
the
can
great
get it
things
as a.
about
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say you can get it as a paperback or a hardback at this time, and we would sign either one. and it will be available as an ebook.
Right. I was going to say is that that's one of the things about printing on demand. It changes the dynamic so that it makes it possible for so many individuals to be able to do well with it. And
That's
so,
why
yeah,
we
I
can
like that.
publish as we do.
What?
It's why we can publish as we do.
All right.
If we had to do a big order like used to be the case in publishing, we would never be able to bring out any of these books.
Well, that's what created the Cone books because
Yeah.
our own print on demand.
Oh, and hello to Mark in the chat room. And Mark says, I'm so glad I could make it today. I love these chats. I'm new to the Correllian tradition, but not new to the craft and grateful to be here. Thank you, Mark. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you study? So what makes Correllian a studyable craft, even if you've been in the craft? I've heard this over and over again. Talk about, give me a minute here, because I know you just want to jump in. Don's used to having control of his own show.
Well, go ahead.
But it is the third degree has been marked as your third degree, the Correllian third degree. Actually, originally the Witch School third degree book, which is if you can find it, it's now rare. So yeah, a lot of our books are becoming collectibles. Don, are we that old?
They are. I once saw a copy of one of our books on eBay for over $1,000. Wow. Whether they got that, I don't know, but they were offering it at that price.
Interesting. But what is it about Correllianism? And the third degree is considered one of the best books you've ever written.
Thank you.
And by other people, by other third degrees, because it was so insightful to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that it wasn't just written to a student, a second degree student, to make that qualification. It was talking to all third degree. And I think your books do that. They talk to the degree, not to what you were.
Yes.
And I feel a lot of craft teaching is about, okay, you learned this in first degree. Now let's add to it. And you're like, this is what you should know in first degree. This is what you should know in second degree. Mm-hmm. So can you talk about why Correllianism is a worthwhile, even if you're other craft, even if you've served other services, you're a druid, you've been in craft, BTW, why should they study Correllianism, even to the point of getting a third degree?
Well, there are a number of things I can say to that, but the first thing I would say is that it's a complete system. It tries to speak to all different aspects of spiritual practice, and in a way that that tries to educate you about many points of view. If you read the degree books, it will teach you the Correllian point of view, but often we'll talk about the fact that other people may look at it differently, because that's important to know. But it talks about magic, it talks about psychism, it talks about energetic work, it talks about ritual, it talks about the nature of the soul and incarnation, it talks about death and dying, it talks about, as you get into like third degree, it talks about dimensionality and chronomagic and remote viewing and astral travel and all of these different things, but it talks about them in a holistic way. It's not like a bunch of unrelated subjects linked together for the most part. It's part of a single holistic system that constantly refers back to the basics of that system to show you how they inform all the different parts of it. One of the things that I regard as the strength of the writing is that it has a lot of redundancy in it, where I go back and I repeat, this is why this works, this is why this is, even at the risk of saying it many times, because I want people to understand that's why this works. And I've had people who said to me, I've been in the craft for many years and never really understood why we did this or why we did that, because they'd been taught how to do it, but never why and what the purpose was.
So Correllian teachings will give you the why of a lot of this material.
Yes.
So if you're buying this new revised first degree, you'll understand the why of first degree. Because anyone can show you how. Lots and lots of people can show you how. But as a tradition, I think we want to teach them the why they're doing it. We don't want... I think we've had a lot of changes. And to go through those changes over the last 2 years,
Hmm.
that rips apart so many different things. We're able to stand it, and now this is the first product of that.
Hmm.
And so, but surely the revised editions will return a lot of the Correllian teachings under the church's control, while we have this great expansive public domain.
Yes.
Why? Correllianism teaches a lot of why. Now let's go ahead and step first. So you want to study. So let's not only can you buy the book, and
Hmm.
what is the price of the book going to be? What is it set for?
Let me just double check that. I believe the paperback is 25. I believe the hardback is 50.
Okay. You can
Same
also
as it was
join
before.
if you're not a member of Witch School or have joined Witch School or is a member, and if you're a lifetime member, once this goes up live on the illustration, I understand that it will be the new first degree program.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, the
That
first
you'll have
degree course is being updated to reflect the changes.
right, so that you're teaching in the modern, and it's a good even if you have a lifetime membership. This is an exceptionally good way to
Mhm.
basically say, "Hey, let me retake the first degree for lots
I've
of
known
purposes."
a number of people who've done that. I can think of at least one high priest who um,
Hmm.
rereads the first degree, well, all the degree books on a regular basis,
Hmm.
both to refresh his memory, but also because he says that he gets more out of them every time.
Well,
And
I
they're
think,
very layered.
and I think every first degree teacher, if you want to be a teacher, if you're a high priest, I think you should read the first degree materials if you're teaching it every year.
Hmm.
And this is going to be, I think this is the fourth revised.
I believe it is.
So let me talk a little bit about if you are a collector. I am Guy of Thrift, guyofthrift.com. Come out and enjoy us. This is how we're going to build community here locally. This is what I moved into. Um, that is allowing. That's why I'm so happy about this book and the change of witch gold because it shows a continuity beyond the founders. It is now this is beyond the founders, and I
Hmm.
get to go ahead and do a lot of thrifting. And talking about thrifting, let's talk about the journey Don and I have been up with books. Um, well, you have a book I really want to bring out. Maybe next week we'll do that. I think we need to go ahead and do it. It's Wheel of Hecate.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We need to bring out the Wheel of Hecate. That's mimeographed and everything else. I've been looking up the rules. We can publish it out, no problem. Um, but if you knew it, I mean, if you had one of the originals, it's worth money. The $1,000, I've seen a number of the comb bound books. I saw a signed book that had yours and Crystal's signature on for over $1,000. Hmm? And it's no
Yeah.
longer listed. Hmm? Looks
Well,
like it's
there aren't a lot of books with Crystal's signature on them.
no.
And she no longer is signing anything at this point. So what exists exists.
Yeah. Well, that's your art show. We're going to have something signed by her. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
and we're going to have the art show coming up, and we have a number of other things. Let's not forget our daily. But I'm so excited about this because it'll be kind of the restoration
Yes.
of the restoration of more traditional leadership.
Hmm.
But it'll be a different generation. I mean, it took work,
Yes.
and I never realized how strong culture is
Hmm.
and structure is. I mean, I built towards that. I mean, my architecture, people go, "Oh, Ed, what did you do?" I said, "Well, mine was architecture, strategy, building." Well, Don was teaching. Well, all these people were allowed to teach. I mean, I was
Hmm.
able to allow um, a lot of people to teach, and it can continue to teach for a very long time, no matter
Hmm.
if I'm there, which this book represents. I wasn't there, and also that you can take it on Witch School. Join Witch School, and it's still there.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm arguing that they should move the right now. I believe first degree is still free.
Hmm.
I'm recommending they move it beyond the firewall, the paywall. It's so little bit of money, and if you really want to seriously study it, I think they should do that. But
Hmm.
they're not. They're being at least now they're fixing it, repairing it, and it's going to offer it to you. So the book, buy at $25. You can get help with it online. That's really and learn the why of Wicca. I mean, isn't that a really important part of this?
Yes. And Janet in the chat room says, to me, why is always important. And
Hmm.
yes, it really is.
Right.
And everything that we have done, there's always a why behind it.
Hmm. Right.
Why we started the school, why we published the way we published, and in a lot of cases, that why was accessibility to allow people to access teaching who previously could not have done it.
So we did something very early with the Witch School. First degree book we did something very, very different than traditional publishing, but not today. Today it would not be,
We
and
were
that
ahead of
is
our time.
because the first time we took the degrees, it was under the Daily Spell. We sent it out as email letters.
Yep.
26,000 eventually questionnaires later, we had to automate. But we sent it out there, and then when people wanted, we had very electronically offered. People wanted it. We got so far behind. The reason we went to Hubson is because we needed an office space that we could afford and equipment to produce ourselves the books. But we were selling them mostly as CDs and DVDs.
Yep.
I'm not sure that was not the better system, and the comb copies.
Yeah.
So all of that material was made as very accessible.
Mhm.
We were following along the AOL. Remember all those CDs everybody was sending out to boot you up? We were kind of doing that, and then we got into it. We did that for a while. Then we had a bigger audience in Witch School, and we got a chance we would not have had if we didn't do this with Llewellyn to publish them.
Mhm.
And Llewellyn published them pretty much as we had already put them out.
Yes.
And that is something I don't think would have happened if we sent them, and we kind of talked to them ahead of time, if we had not pre-published them, if we
Mhm.
hadn't built an entire website around them. But then the number one way most people have exposed this site is the Witch School. We eventually took back. We did a major revision. We decided not to go with Llewellyn, and we did it ourselves, and we are here. Now, this is the fourth edition of it.
Mhm.
So if you have or can get your hands on the third version, which is, I think, the most dramatic shift. I think the third version was the most dramatic shift away from our teachings. And in a lot of ways, this is a refinement of what that rawness was.
Yes.
So, do I think you should have all four? I think if you have all four, you'll find majorly differences. And at some point in history, historians are going to be comparing the books.
Yes, they may very well.
That's what historians do.
Yes.
And would be theologists.
Hmm. And you can see shifts in theological understanding over the course of all these many years, because that those first lessons were written in 1997. It's been a long journey, and that is the nascence of this book, and this is only natural that it would be revised over time. People grow, people's understanding deepens.
Well, I think people don't understand is that most of the tradition has now grown, and they go, "Oh, you can't grow them online," but we have, and
Yeah.
now we have people and human beings involved, and we've gone to the Parliament of World Religions. We started from
Mhm.
where I was just an assistant stage manager and volunteer, being kind of told our religion didn't deserve to be there, to earning its place 30 years later.
Yeah.
And now this is the next step. I mean, nothing could be better. And so what are we talking about? Go to CorrellianPublishing.com.
Hmm.
Is it on the front page? You can pre-order.
I'm not certain. Let me check and see if
If
it's
not, put in the longer code. Pre-order, right? And if you pre-order now and say, I want both signatures, we can get you both signatures, big autographs.
If you go under the book tab,
Yeah.
it is on the second page.
Okay, so there you go.
Or I'm sorry, it's on the third page.
On the third page.
Yeah.
Now, if you order the other one, you'll get
I
the
do plan
old.
to change that, but yes.
Okay, we'll fix that. But if you order the third one right now, you'll get the third one. So you've got a couple of days, a couple of weeks, because we'll probably stop selling it after this revise comes out, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you if you want to get the third one, rather than the new one, mention that in a note to me, and we'll make sure you get that one
Right, because you can still order that one now.
now. And
And I
hello,
think
Magical Mermaid.
And I think any high priest high priest or priestess who really wants to understand how our theology has moved and changed in living, I would get the third version too. If you don't have the third version, the Witch School version, right now it's going between $25 and $150 on eBay.
Yep, and very hard to find.
Very hard. I don't have any copies. The first degree is still available. Witch School first degree is still available through Llewellyn.
Yes.
So there. So you can get and then of course you have to find the rare comb copies. But
and of course we do have the public domain copies as well. If you
oh sure.
If you want to see that older version, you can get it in ebook form just by going to Correllianchurch.com, and it is there under the library link.
And let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and we got a few minutes to talk about that. Why did we make it public domain? There are a lot of reasons we want to make sure of. You're going to say something.
Well, because we want people to be able to have we wanted people to have good teaching. We didn't want to hold it back from people because, when people know better, they do better.
There was. I mean, there is that point. There was a legal reason too. Two very important, distinct legal reasons. One, I didn't want to see the church and different branches of the church fight over copyrights. So we made those available to everybody to answer so that we didn't have people fighting over copyrights. Look up, which church is it? Oh, I'm so glad. The People's Church? No, the Process Church.
The Process Church.
Oh, look it up over copyrights and how they destroyed themselves. And great theology. Love thy enemies yourself. So you're supposed to love Satan as much as Jesus. It was a good theology. They had some crosses. They were growing. Their best.
They were big news in the 70s.
Hey, look it up. So we didn't want that. So it was out there for everybody else. But there was another reason. And people are now, you're hearing a lot of pagans. And let me make this clear. You're hearing a lot of pagans cry and bitch and moan about their copyright, which I've warned everybody is being sucked up by AI. We're not playing that game. We know where AI is going. We've known where technology is always going, and why we revised this book and why it does adapt for the 2025. Let me be clear. This is a 2025 edition, so we're not reading something in the past. We're reading something in the now. And that was that we had to be accessible to AI. Now we can put up our copyright walls. Even the AIs have gotten good information. That's going to be really super important. We were seeing so much terrible. 2 years ago, we saw so much terrible information about the Correllians. Not true stuff, hallucinations, different things.
Fan fiction.
Huh?
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction. Oh my God. Different people starting it that had nothing to do with it.
That's true.
Branches in there. And now it's gotten much more, 2 years later, it's gotten much more different. And by allowing them to contact our materials, they put them as a priority. They don't have to question it. And that gave us a real good chance. This book becomes the first that goes back behind the wall. You can only buy it. You can get it as an ebook, or you can go on Witch School. So that's important.
Absolutely.
And that's going to reclaim some of the sovereignty for the tradition.
And it is an evolution with new material from Lady Alyssa, and so it is a great movement forward.
And some corrections and some language shifts. I mean, there's that's
there are a number of differences within it.
Right. And so you get it at Correllian Publishing. Correllianpublishing.com. Order it today. Order it when you can. If you want to order it for your entire coven, talk to us or talk to Don or talk to Chris Copeland is involved, and they can get you a discount. I mean, if you're a store that wants to carry it, maybe we talk about wholesale. Let's get this book out there and prepare for this. And my gosh, the fact that Witch School is going to have it available at Lustration is going to be very meaningful. And maybe we can see about retaking it. We can all get together and retake all these classes.
Yes. That would be great.
And
now we are coming down to the end of our half hour, so we want to take a moment for a word from our sponsors. Here we go. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and I would like to invite you to my Don Art showing and auction on Friday, May 9th, with original pieces and prints of my artwork and other interesting items, with the auction at 5 p.m. on Whatnot. And please stay tuned for more announcements and examples of art that will be coming. Thank you. And thank you to our sponsors, Equinox Learning Hub, and the Don Art auction on May 9th. I hope you'll join us for that. We'll have original artwork and prints. Thank you to Ed The Pagan for joining me today. I believe he has already exited, but thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll consider buying the book. And there are a number of evolutions in it, including the chapters on the goddess and the matron or queen aspect of the goddess. And I think you'll find it a fascinating development. So with that, thank you for joining me, and let us close with our prayer, as we always do. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives, and we ask you to help us to constantly grow and increase our knowledge and increase our learning. Help us to learn from everything we encounter in life and to grow constantly as long as we are in this incarnation. Help us to have all of the evolutions that life offers to us in our thoughts, understandings, and emotions. Beloved Mother Goddess, beloved Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love. Knowing you're always with us from respect, we thank you for your presence, and may you be blessed now and always. May you be blessed now and always, and I'll see you again tomorrow.